the Artist Interrogations Podcast.
I'm sitting down with Matt B from Ashes to Movement. Saying from twice is a little hard to do.
It sucks, but you get good at it before you do it.
You do?
Yeah,
Because I've done it a couple times on the year. I've been bragging. I've been going to the show to our listeners because we've been playing Barely Breathing, the new remix of it with Against the Current. Yeah. Consistently on the air. It's an awesome track. Love it.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you guys just released Blackout Deluxe.
Yes, sir. A couple days ago.
Yeah,
I think.
You think? Yeah. You lose track of time on the road, don't you?
Whew, dude, we've made the joke, and it's not a joke anymore, but the amount of bus problems and the tour length itself, this is a very long tour.
Right.
This is the longest. This tour's like 7 weeks, I think. It's the longest 3-year tour I've ever done.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it really feels that way.
You have to forget what city you're in, too, right?
Sometimes. I checked out mentally in Albuquerque. We didn't play in Albuquerque, but that was our, last bus breakdown.
Right.
We're on our fourth bus, so.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. It's just been an absolute nightmare. So when that bus broke down outside of Albuquerque, my brain just went, I'm done.
Yeah. So you guys have to have a bus on standby, or
well, it's up to the company that we rent through.
Okay.
Contractually, it's up to them to make sure that we get recovered.
Oh yeah.
So,
but it's rock stars on the side of the road.
Yeah.
That must suck, man.
Which we did a couple times on this tour. I've never actually experienced it at all ever.
Right.
In this tour, like I said, we're on our fourth bus. So
wow, I would think that's it would take a couple hours to get to you, right? There's no bus on standby or a bus following or a bus nearby. You have to have some sort of that's weird.
Oh, they usually have to meet you. Like typically, a band will cancel that show,
right?
Because they're on their way.
Yeah.
Not us. We get U-Hauls or Penske's, load the gear or cross-load the trailer.
Right.
Rental vehicles, we've done that about 2 times now.
Well, that's the thing I was going to mention about you guys as a band entirely, is that you guys are nonstop. I mean, this tour, then you have another tour coming up with, is it Set It Off?
Yeah, we have Set It Off and Nothing More, yeah.
Yeah, Nothing More as well, yeah. I mean, you guys barely have any time to just breathe, really. I mean, next year you guys just going to take the whole year off and just sort of relax, or is that not your thing? That's not your thing?
Yeah, I think next year's going to be an even bigger year because I would imagine we're going to have new music. So.
Oh, okay. There we go. So Blackout Deluxe is out now. You got about 5 remixes, or are they remixes? What do you call them?
Remixes with features. We've got a few on there. That we did Nightmare with Sullivan King.
Yes.
Monster Me with Yellow Wolf. Barely Breathing with Chrissy Costanza. One Foot in the Grave was a new track. That's with Aaron Pauli of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
And then we have Live Before I'm Dead, which is the first track that I've ever sung on.
That's what I was going to touch base with you on too. Is that I saw the social media post about you singing for the first time on a track.
Yeah.
Was that nerve-wracking at all?
No, not necessarily nerve-wracking. It was just a different approach to something. I can sing, obviously, but I never really took that type of approach. And Lance really wanted me to try it, our guitarist, and I didn't want to. I was like, Danny can do it. Why don't I just let Danny do it?
Right.
Because obviously Danny's more versed in that stuff. It's easier for him to just go in there and do that. I've got to think things through a little bit. So I could sing. It's just I've had different styles of singing throughout my career. Nothing quite like that. More vulnerable and subdued and stuff like that. So it was a little bit more of a process, but I'm glad I did it because I think it turned out super awesome, and I'm proud of myself for pushing myself outside of my boundaries and going outside my comfort zone, which I think we should all do in life, as long as the idea is good and not bad.
Right. No, I got to think about if you could sing, you might as well go for it. I mean, I'm jealous of people who can do stuff like that. For me, I just talk on the radio and make dumb jokes.
But people are jealous of that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just a tall guy. I consider myself the tallest radio DJ in the country.
All right, Ren, how tall are you?
6'9".
Yeah, probably.
Unless there's some guy who's 7 foot somewhere.
I don't think I've met him. I've met a lot. I don't think I've met him.
I mean, for also a lot of the tracks on Blackout, you have a lot of not breakup, but Heartache. From Hate Me Too. Is that just did you guys go through a lot of heartache or
I have. I mean, I think we all have though.
Right.
I just write those types of songs come from personal experiences of mine. And yeah, I mean, heartache is just kind of about growing up in a town where you feel like you're just stuck, and it's everyone's nah, you can't be anything more than this. This is what you're going to be. So just fall in line and be that. That mixed together with just I was pretty poor growing up. And I watched all the kids at my school get all this cool stuff, and I was like, I want something like that, and I just never really had the opportunity to get it. Not that my parents didn't work their asses off to make sure we had the things that we needed as kids, but I was the play in the dirt kid. You know, like I didn't get a bike from the store. If I did, it was the greatest day ever. But I didn't get a bike from the store. I had to like build one out of parts.
Right.
So like that's kind of how I grew up. Which, you know, now later in life is a blessing because like now I know how to fix everything. I know how to, you know, work on houses, cars, bikes, whatever it needs to be. Like I don't have to hire people out to do stuff for me. I can do it all myself.
So you could have fixed the bus.
I probably actually could have, but now I'm at the point where I'm paying someone for that, so they better do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No, looking back on it now and seeing where you're at currently, do you just go like, man, I'm now like that better off guy compared to people who I grew up with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily compare myself to people. Like, I do think that I'm outside of the high school competition of popular.
Yeah,
you know,
lucky you. I'm still in that for some reason,
dude. I mean, well, I'm now in it in the music world. Like, there's a cool kids club for sure. You know, I don't really like that stuff, and that's kind of like what I talk about in music and on stage too. Like, what I don't really care. Like, I never really gave about what people thought about me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's just the way that I approach life. And I think that there's too much stress that comes with like trying to care so much about what you look like, or I mean, like I take care of myself and I do care about what I look like, but not because I care what someone else thinks. I care what I think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think there's a lot of added stress when you worry about other people's judgment, and that goes throughout life, whichever phase that you're in. So I try not to buy too much into that stuff and just kind of live life to my standards. And, you know, make sure that I'm just doing the right thing.
So no going through like the Facebook comments and seeing negative people. You know?
I do it, and you know, sometimes I feel some sort of way because you do put yourself out there as an artist.
You do.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, for example, doing Live Before I'm Dead is something I've never done before, and putting it out there, obviously I open myself up to some type of critique, whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
The response has been overwhelmingly positive. You always get a couple people that are like, no, man, just no. You know what I mean? It's like, you're going to get that. It is what it is. We can't dwell on that, because if you dwell on it, then you'll just ruin yourself.
That's a big problem I face, because I look at it like with our crowd. I mean, our crowd's pretty easygoing. They're nice people. But I'm looking at like Octane's comments, and like you see people fire Jose Mangan, get rid of Katie Babbs.
That's tough,
and I'm like, dude, that would be terrible.
But
I'd be mad every day.
You always got to kind of realize too, like the ones that have the negative stuff to say are always the loudest, right? Like, so like, you know, sometimes you got to look at just the like reactions. You know what I mean? Just some people just see it and they're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Right.
You know what I mean? And they like it. You know what I mean? Like, then they don't have much to say. But people who are like really like pissed off just all the time, they're always the ones who have something to say. Like, and always like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know what I mean? Like, they're always the ones that are just like, I've got to be loud and obnoxious.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like someone commented on a TikTok that I made for Live Before I'm Dead, and I think that his I think he just one word, horrible, I think is what it was, right? So I was like, you know, I want to see what this guy's about. Let me go to his page. So I went to his TikTok page, and of course he had videos, but every single one of his videos was just him hating on every which artist. You know what I mean? He's like, every artist in the industry is just hating on it. So I actually did comment back, and I was like, listen, you're entitled to your opinion, and that's fair. I don't have a problem with your opinion. If you don't like the song, you don't like the song. Whatever.
Definitely.
But, dude, you spend your entire day hating on people, man. Like, get some help, bro. Like, something's going on. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't get somewhere in your life, and now you're taking it out on everybody else. And that's kind of how I feel when people just constantly hate. They just feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they're just taking their frustrations out on other people because they don't feel good about something in their life. And they may never realize that. But I kind of fell down that hole, the jealousy hole in music. Like, I fell down that for a little while. I was like, why is this person doing better than me? I'm better than them. Why are they doing better than me? And then I realized, I'm like, why does it matter?
Your guys' social media presence, I mean, it is like crazy. I mean, I go to you guys' like Instagram all the time, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it may be, and there's like top-notch videos. You guys have a whole team dedicated to that sort of thing?
No, it's me.
It's just you?
Yeah.
So did you go to like school for social media?
No, I'm a personable guy. Like, I'm just like, you know, like I see you in a grocery store, I don't mind sitting there and having a conversation with you.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I just take that to the social media world. Like, so, and I just talk with people, or I think about like, what would I like to see? You know, if I post something, like what would intrigue me, or, you know, like I pay attention to our fans, like what excites them, what doesn't, you know. So then I try to make sure my posts are catered towards what our fans are going to react to.
Definitely.
And I've just done that from the very beginning, and some of the stuff works, some of it doesn't, some of it's crap, and ends up you don't win everyone, but you know what I mean. For the most part, I think that it's just being on the ground level and engage with our fan base is what makes me good at social media, is just because I know exactly what people are thinking.
Absolutely, and you guys are definitely, vulnerable, I should say, because like when I talk about my problems on the air, or like my stories on the air, it's like, do people really care about this, or they just want to hear like the music more so? Because you get those people occasionally on K-Bear that will go say like, "What it's Idaho's only talk station," or slogans Idaho's only rock station, and like our morning show guy Victor, he goes on and on. I'll kind of like occasionally speak here and there, but you'll get people in the comments saying, "You guys blabber your mouth too much," and that sort of thing. But I feel like most people enjoy what we have to say, especially interviews like this, because it's like a connection from the music to the artist.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to have both sides, right? Mm-hmm. And I do speeches on stage. Sometimes they end up being like 6-7 minutes long.
Right.
I don't really even realize they're that long because I'm just
great.
up there talking. You know what I mean? But, you're always going to get the person who's like, just play music, and I get it. I mean, they're there for music. You know what I mean? So I get the sentiment of just play music. But I also think that a lot of that means that person doesn't have a connection and they're only connected to the song. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, you talked about, like, Howard Stern. Like, Howard Stern, like, people are connected to him because of what he talks about. That's why they listen to him.
Definitely.
And there's DJs in my area where I grew up that started as radio DJs and then had their own morning show or whatever. Now they just BS on the morning show all morning long, and people listen to them for that. That's what they tune in for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because they've drawn a personal connection with them people. Mm-hmm. The people who just want to listen to the music's fine, because that's what they're there for, is to listen to the music. They're never going to have a personal connection to anything other than the song. Mm-hmm. They won't have a personal connection to you. But when you look at artists that build like their legacy and they build their fan base, and it's because the people have a personal connection to that artist and not just their music. That's why and this is my theory, is that why you look at like some of the artists like in the pop world or in like, these big worlds of music, they're like, man, their music was so big, but then all of a sudden they were gone.
Yeah.
It's because people were only connected to the music. And the next time that they released music, if it wasn't up to the standard of music that those people that were connected to, it went to the wayside and it fell off. Mm-hmm. But when you look at certain artists, and I always use people like Brent Smith of Shinedown or Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch.
Definitely. Both of them are great.
Right.
Yeah.
And people are connected to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what they do. Those people will always come out and support them because they're connected to them on a different level. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm not afraid to go out and have a talk with somebody or have a talk on stage or whatever. And the one guy in the crowd like, shut up and play a song. And it's like, dude, like, I get it, but you might not be at the next show. But my message that people are out there resonating with right now, those people are going to come because they know that they're on the same level as me and that we have something in common.
And it's crazy, too, because, I mean, I love bands who actually talk with the audience more so than just play song after song after song. Like, we just had Death Clock come to Idaho Falls, and they're more so just blasting you with the visuals, getting you with the Metalocalypse cartoon on the wall. But I was talking about it with our morning show host, Victor, about that whole thing, about, like, bands that just go out there and perform. Like, I don't necessarily like that. I like the whole theatrics or talking or something like that in between the songs.
Sure. There are some artists that are geared just to their show, though. So, like, talking in between, like, I'll use my homies in Ice Nine Kills, for example.
Definitely. They're great.
Like, they have a specific show. Do you know what I mean? And, like, talking outside the narrative in between that might actually come off as weird because they have, like, a specific narrative that they're sticking to. Like, the horror theme, like, everything is themed around that.
It'd be crazy for them to come out and...
Right, like, so if, like, Spencer came out and started talking about, like, his personal life struggles, people are like, wait a second, that has nothing to do with, why I bought into what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, us, we're, like you said, social media and being personable and heartache, talking about the things that, we've gone through. It's more about, like, the message behind the music being personable and, like, hey, like, we're kind of all on the same playing field. So, like, me going out and having a heart-to-heart with the crowd is along the narrative. You know what I mean? So, like, I get certain bands don't do that. Like, I wouldn't expect, like, Guar to come out and have, like, a heart-to-heart with me.
Right, or
that
Sleep Token for a Vessel to speak up. And
right. It might be weird, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I get it. There is, like, different sides of it, you know what I mean? Like, we just happen to be on the side, like, that's more of, like, a personal experience, like something that people might come to the crowd and be like, man, like, I needed this song at this moment because I was going through this.
Yeah, and one last thing here I wanted to touch base with you on is most of the songs on Blackout, I think I heard you say they were written back in 2020, 2021, that time.
Yep.
And after all of that time, releasing the album, was it last year Blackout came out last year?
Yeah.
Looking at those songs, were you kind of cringed about it, or were you kind of just like, okay, and those still stand with me? Because I feel like if I look back on certain things from like a year or two ago, I would be like, ugh, why did I write that? Get rid of it,
I've done that before, but not with this album. And I think this still stands the test of time. Like, I've definitely looked at some of our prior work from previous albums and went, man, I could have done this different, or this could have been better, you know. Not Blackout though. I think it just fits the moment. I think that we're still in that moment. Like, I think that even though it's not 2020 and 2021 still, it's still the same vibe in the world. So I think that they're so fitting. And I don't think there's any art on this album that I would regret doing.
Yeah, and it's great that you guys also put out stuff that's specifically how you feel or things that you are passionate about versus just like another radio hit or something like that, you know, because it always gets me so upset whenever I hear people say like, oh, or bands say like, we made this song specifically for rock radio, because we're a station that will play whatever's huge. Like, we'll play like Take Me Back to Eden from Sleep Token, or, you know, Knocked Loose, considering they're going crazy right now. So I've been listening to that new Barely Breathe, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, so stoked that you guys were coming to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, man. There's definitely some songs that were created for the purpose of what you're saying, but that's not on us.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too far into it.
Yeah.
But I don't like writing music like that.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy just writing music and writing from the heart or writing from the moment. And, you know, when we're told to write in a box, I absolutely can't stand it. So,
yeah.
So
definitely.
for me, like, I don't want to do that stuff. Like, it's just, you know, that's insincere, and that's not how I roll. So
right. Well, I'm very excited to see you guys tonight here at the Depot. Thank you so much for spending all this time with me here today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The Artist Interrogations podcast is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com.